Hey Pisces star seeds, it's Sweet Spirit Mystic. Gosh, it's been a long time. I'm happy to be back. I'm sorry that the light is dim, but it needs to be. Just a little recap of why I've been gone. I had a blood clot in one of the veins that drains my cerebral spinal fluid, and I've been in the hospital all this time. So I had way too much cerebral spinal fluid, so they had to drain it through spinal taps several times, and they found abnormal cells in that cerebral spinal fluid, so they're having to figure out what to do next. And that clot is still there. So it's ongoing. I can barely see out of my right eye, but I'm here. So as long as I'm here and semi-functional, let's do readings. Please send me all the positive strength and energy that you can for healing. I definitely need it. It's really hard to sleep. They have me on some really tough medication. I've lost a lot of weight and I'm already quite small. So I'm just trying to regain my strength. And there were a few times where I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. And the universe said no. So let's see. And I know that a lot has been happening in the world while I was away. That's usually how it is. So I hope everyone is okay and beaming out a lot of love to humanity because we need it. All right, I know I missed a lot of birthdays, so this is the catch-up reading for all of those. Let's see. It is 2:33. It is Friday, March 6th. So let's see what the messages are. If you've ever had a blood clot, the headaches are off the charts. So okay, this was coming out before. Leap of faith. Okay. That's a lot like the Fool energy. Just going for it. And we have protection. Know that you are divinely protected and that you are also a protector. It's been really windy where I'm at the past few days. So a change in the wind. Underneath that is justice, Libra energy, balancing out anything that has been imbalanced in your life. So Pisces, overgiving. I did notice that while I was in the hospital, I wasn't allowed to do anything. So don't get to that extreme, like take those times out. Sometimes the universe puts us in situations where we cannot do anything in order to protect us. Puts us in situations where we are protected, hidden away. Okay, so let's see with the tarot. Remember to breathe. Remember to drink water. Okay, this is good. We've got the Sun card here. Very positive energy. And then we have the Three of Pentacles, which talks about work. Working on your happiness. Those things that bring you joy, that light you up. Knowing that you are protected. There's those like monster figures in the background, making sure that you're okay. We have the Hierophant, the Teacher. We have the Devil here as well. The Devil and the Teacher. The shadow is our teacher. Tell me more about the Devil. That's Capricorn energy. You know, letting other people help you. We have the Chariot, so leaving behind people, places, things that bring out that kind of devil addictive energy within you, that bring out that part of you that you're not proud of, that make you feel exhausted. There is a lesson in that. You know, if you get to the point where you are at your wit's end, who are you around? Who's bringing you to that edge? Who's constantly taking from you? Yeah, wow, look at this. We have the Two of Swords, the Ten of Wands, and the Two of Cups. It is someone that you care about, someone that you love, that just constantly burdens you. You know, with the Two of Swords here, I want to use the word doubt, but it's like they say things that make you feel like they doubt your love. So you're like, oh, let me prove it to you. See, I love you because I'm doing all these things. And yet you slowly get drained. And that's not love. It's not a competition. So you're leaving those kinds of relationships where you have to prove your love. Two of Swords. Yeah, another two. Where they make you choose your friends or them, your family or them, your work or them. And next thing you know, you're completely isolated. That's not love. That's control. That's that devil energy. Confirmation. We have the Eight of Swords. It's a trap. Page of Coins. You gotta learn to see behind that curtain. Like, what's really going on? Who is that person? And it all comes from hurt. It all comes from their own past. But you're not there to heal it for them. They have to heal that. Ten of Swords. You know, they've been hurt. They've been betrayed. That saying, hurt people hurt people. But you're not the one to fix that. They have to fix it themselves. And until someone holds that firm boundary, they will continue to do it. So this is your opportunity to hold that firm boundary and say, no. No, I have to go see my family. This is important to me. You either come or we're not together anymore. No, this is my best friend of, my whole life. I have to go to this. Otherwise, we're not together anymore. It's not like, oh, you just love me so much. That's why you want me all to yourself. No, that's a trick. That's a scam. Okay? Don't be fooled. It takes a lot of courage to hold that line. And it's where you have to be prepared to exit the situation when you have that boundary. So be prepared. Have your bags packed. Have your money in order. Because they're not going to expect it. They're going to think, oh, they'll be back, or they won't follow through. But you will. Here we go. There's that tower. It's going to rock. It's going to shake. But you will have your friends and your family, co-workers there to back you up, to help you get out of this, because it's a toxic relationship and it's not your fault. You saw good there and you wanted to be there and you thought that there would be a change. But people don't change unless they want to change. People are who they are. People tell you who they are. So if they use things like, I'm selfish, oh, they're selfish. And you make sure to keep track of all those phrases. We've got anxiety here. We've got love. You probably felt it leading up in your body. Lots of confusion. You're like, who are you from day to day? They might have had mental instability. The Star. And a lot of people do, and it can be managed, but there's certain levels of it that cannot. Let me tell you. They say weird things under their breath. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You have to get out. And if it's one of those Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde things, ask for money on their happy days. And you put that in an account that they don't have access to. Okay? and you tell all your friends. You tell your doctors, you tell your therapist, so that everybody knows that you're dealing with this. Okay? And God forbid they drink on top of it, because it's like a roller coaster beyond. Okay, we have the King of Cups here. 5 of Swords. So yeah, one day they seem stable, next day super mad. It's scary. I've been there recently. Okay. And your body, it takes a toll. Because you're so sensitive to energy. You're so pure. Okay? We have the Hermit here. You do not have to go through this alone, Pisces. You know, tell your co-workers. Tell your parents. Don't feel ashamed, because it's so easy to be tricked, because they're really great at that pirate smile and being oh so generous. Trips, clothes, cars, all that. But underneath that, it's someone else. Okay, 4 of Coins, Knight of Swords, Knight of Wands. It's about control. They make you think that they're keeping you safe, but they're slowly taking away all your power. Maybe you move out of town to where you don't know anyone. You know, there's some impulsivity here. Oh, it'll be fun. I'll take care of you. Quit your job. Don't ever quit your job, and don't ever lose your own apartment or your own home. Always keep it. Rent it out if you have to, and just tell them that you let it go. Like, thank God I kept my place. Okay, 9 of Wands. This is where you know you're protected. Ask for signs from the universe. Universe, if I'm supposed to stay with this person, do this. If I'm not, do that, and see what happens. Ask multiple times. And like, that's the thing with mental illness that's like this. It's a challenge, because we lump all mental illness together, and we're like, oh, we're compassionate, we care, da, da, da. But there is some out there that's really dark. Confirmation. So we have this King of Wands and the Fool. So this is scary. This is where you have to get away. And sometimes it's progressive. Okay, like say there's some kind of head injury. Like maybe for the most of their life, they're okay. And then at a certain point, they change. Like that's a mental illness too. And yeah, you love them for all these years, but then they're a different person. And then it's unsafe for you. Okay? That means that person that you love has died. And there's someone else there. So, you know, don't beat yourself up in a way where you're like, I didn't see the sign, you know, stuff like that. Like people can change. Like there's a switch that can flip. There's something called CTE. A lot of athletes that do contact sports can get it later in life. You know, drinking doesn't help it. But they change. They're violent. Okay, that's not your fault. It's not their fault either. But it's hard to live with. And it's not diagnosable until after that person dies. Okay? So a lot of times you just have to have a plan early on, like, okay, you got married, all that stuff, but what happens if this happens? Have it all written out. Okay, you're gonna go live in a place and you're gonna get taken care of that way. That actor Bruce Willis, he had something else, but his mind changed and he started to, be kind of mean. So he lives in a different house now, fully functional physically, but his emotional self is not the same person, and he's a Pisces. Okay, so don't hurt yourself. It's just things change, and just make sure you're in a place where you're taken care of. And I think it's usually like mid-late 50s, somewhere in there, that this happens. So if someone's changing, someone's drinking a lot, because that causes a lot of inflammation in the brain, and if someone doesn't want to deal with it, you don't have to suffer through this. And sometimes you just have to get out. So there's all different ways that this either can work or not. But it can be quite damaging to the family and the other spouse. So yeah, with this Knight of Wands or King of Wands and the Fool, let me see here. Let's get one romance angel to close this out. Express your love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. Because oftentimes people just want to bury their head in the sand. So it takes some proactiveness to be like, hey, okay, I know you played football in college or pro or even high school. And this is a thing. Can we talk about the probability if this does happen? Maybe we'll both stop drinking. There's a big foundation that deals with this too. So yeah, I'm really empathetic and sympathetic for this. It's hard to know what to do. 1 second it's like, F you, I don't want to be in your life, and then you're like, but I love you, let's figure it out. So it's not set in stone. It's like everyone's situation is different. So if you can, get with a therapist that has experience and talk through it, there are ways to find a solution that's safe for you and your family. So this hasn't ever really come up before in a reading, but think about everyone who's played contact sports. There's a lot of people. It just takes one concussion. You're just like, oh, I'm fine. I just hit my head a little bit and was passed out for a little bit. That does something to your brain. Our brain is super fragile. Clearly. I had some pressure on my optic nerves, and yeah, it's fragile. Yeah, as resilient as we are, it's really fragile. So So have a plan, okay, Pisces? There's a way to make things work in a loving way, you know, before it gets too far. All right, Pisces, I'm glad to be back. I'm hoping to do readings every day now that I'm home, but it'll just kind of depend on how I feel. Let's pray that blood clot disappears pronto. It could take several months, but let's hope it goes away by tomorrow. Please, universe, just take it away. But yeah, thank you for all the well wishes and concern while I was gone. I know the world is going crazy right now too, and I generally have health things around those times, and I'm sure you guys do too, because we're so sensitive. But you know what? That's why we're here, to help elevate the collective, and sometimes it's almost too much. Yeah, detox. Yeah, we're detoxing the heavy energy, and it can be a lot. Okay, so make sure you take care of yourself. All right, Pisces, I love you. See you soon.